do have to start with the big story of the weekend. U.S. China trade reaching a phase 1 agreement. In terms of the Asia Pacific, is that going to give a lift for business?
Well, good morning, Paul, and thanks for having me. I think it's an exciting time to be in the business, given the data growth everywhere and how many of new outcomes and new businesses are getting built on the back of data technologies. And, if you thought about electricity and steam powering the businesses and then internet changing the business, now data is going to define the next era of the businesses. And certainly we can talk more about it. But to your question, I think we do believe in a free trade. We do believe our ability to serve customers with multiple factories. We have 25 plus locations, ability to source components for the outcome the customers are looking in terms of digital outcomes. So we do welcome any progress that is made towards free trade and globalization of our supply chain.
Yes, has this made any differences to your supply chain? Did you have to make any changes there, and are you now able to reorganize again?
Well, we certainly specified before that we are ready for the changes that are coming through. Our intention and we urge multiple parties to work together. We've been ready. We would have been ready regardless of the outcome. But this is, we are focused on our business, which is, again, to see how we can help customers put data to better outcome. How can we help them use cloud technologies in their businesses? How we can have a better predictable IT and IT cost infrastructure? And how do we put them on a revenue and business growth and creating a new customer experience? So I think, again, opportunities for us are tremendous and multiple. And we're excited by that.
I want to ask you about some of those specifics, but first I just have to ask, because I'm such a macro person, the Japanese government just announced a very big fiscal program. We've seen business uncertainty hurting many countries' economies in the Asia-Pacific region. So how has that been a challenge for Dell, and how do you see that playing out in 2020?
So, Kathleen, I would tell you that our business in Asia continues to do well, Asia, Pacific, and Japan. This has been our 11th consecutive quarter of growth. And again, customers are saying that while they need to make their current operations more efficient, they have to invest for the future. And that investment in the future come from, I talked about the data-driven technologies and more digitization and more cloud-enabled technologies for them. So I do think that as the uncertainty in the market increases, customers take a pause, but nobody stops. We have seen our business continue to go from strength to strength.
So what's at the top of your list? You've got all kinds of things. You talk about the cloud, on-demand, enabling AJP, Asia, Japan, Pacific, innovation. 2020, what's your biggest priority?
Well, if you just think about just the level of data growth that is coming together. I mean, just 2007, all the U.S. carriers carried only 87 petabyte of data. And today, we transport that much in less than an hour. Within 10 years, we'll be doing it less than 10 minutes. That's 52,000 times growth of the data. Another example of autonomous car. And the way we look at this is that one company will have 7 zettabytes of data. This is 5% of all the data available today. So the data growth is humongous. And so from our perspective, to enable that kind of outcome, we need autonomous infrastructure. So we are launching self-driving data centers. We are launching new cloud-consistent operations and infrastructure application centers, which is also available as a service. Again, there's a new realities of the business where data and AI will play a bigger and bigger role, and we have to be right there with our customers. But at the same time, cost has to be managed, and at the same time, sustainability and innovation will matter. So all of those things is part of our agenda as we move into 2020.
Well, also at the same time, you have rivals Lenovo and HPE attempting to undercut you on price in the Asia Pacific. To what degree is there a price war going on?
Well, as I mentioned, our business is focused on the data-driven technologies. We remain competitive in the marketplace. But if you think about our customers are saying they want to modernize their applications and they want to migrate the applications to the cloud. And so call it M&M, modernize and migrate and modernize. And so we remain very focused on the application layer. We focus very on the data layer, as well as overall cost and the transformation, whether it's a security transformation, workforce transformation, IT transformation, as well as a overall business transformation. So again, those are the areas we are focused on, and that puts us in quite a different league altogether from versus the competitors you mentioned. Again, we have to remain competitive, but our story is much higher at the customer agenda.
Is that job of remaining competitive made more difficult by Dell's pursuit of achieving investment-grade debt?
Well, again, financially we're making good progress, paying down the debt, and again, for us to continue to create a sustainable business, we have to make sure we are focused on the data-driven technologies and more on the application and the customer outcome versus just a product or a hardware. And again, as we announced recently, $22.8 billion of revenue with 2% growth. I think those scenarios are continuing to make our investment-grade pursuit very much within reach. So we look forward to continuing to make progress on that.